Hello and welcome to Sanctuary Educate podcast, where we will talk all things mindset, money management and our entrepreneurial journey. Along the way, we're going to throw in some amazing guests for your pleasure. I'm Shane Hyland.
I'm Gareth Shears. This show is going to change your life and teach you skills that school never taught you.
Boom.
Welcome back to the show, and apart from the usual start of rugby we'll be talking about, we'll be covering off some things from the budget from last Wednesday.
Yes.
It was. Yeah.
For those of you listening on a podcast, he is writing on a whiteboard. I'm presuming he's writing his
My memoirs.
his numbers of where he thinks Wales will finish in next season's Six Nations
My
tournament.
memoirs.
So the next step is you say to somebody else that's from a country that's just won a tournament, you say,
Well done.
it was bitter coming out, wasn't it?
No,
Huh?
no, it was well deserved. You know, the red card and yellow card didn't help you at all, did it?
Red card is a red card. Let's lesson, you know.
There's been so many debates over that red card.
Yeah.
But by the letter of the law, it was a red card.
Yes, Sir Clive Woodward would disagree.
Oh, him and his cardigan. Do you see him and his maroon cardigan?
Do you know what I
I
will?
think they need to just stop bringing him on because he's the most negative individual you'll ever meet on that program. Like literally, because him and
One of our friends,
Bod
George
was,
Grant, now, will tell him to watch this because they're good friends with each other.
him and Bod were well, you know, like
Do you know what? I was going to wear my green jersey in today. I put a post out some days ago on LinkedIn, and it was almost trying to compare, I don't know, financial planning and what they did.
Yeah.
And over the whole course of the 5 games, yeah, because it's Six Nations, especially for Ireland, because I watched every single second and minute of them, they came up against scenarios that were, difficult. I.e., when your world player of the year is a hooker, and you know, you got a guy coming in to be a hooker in the scrums and all that, and I was trying to almost align it as I whacked the microphone, trying to align it with planning that these guys didn't make the decision, you know, just in February, we're going to go and win the Six Nations at home. They planned that for the last 18 or 24 months. And they trained different scenarios, and they took all the emotions
Do you
out
think they
of
were
it.
actually planning for that game though, and not planning for the World Cup?
Yeah.
Was that not just? I don't think they planned for the Six Nations. I think Six Nations was just one of the things in place, ready for the World Cup. The plans of the World Cup.
Do you know what? I'd like to think it would be that way, but history has shown, and you can only go on past performance, that we haven't won a single knockout game since 1987 in the World Cup.
Really?
So for us to go and say we're going to win it now is, you know, that far-fetched.
Have you got a difficult route in the World Cup?
Yeah.
We got a really easy one, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Well, all
Isn't
of
it
you
something
lot.
like, and we got like Japan and Samoa, and then potentially Argentina or England in the semis. Like,
Do you know who the first game in the World Cup is?
No.
The first game is France versus New Zealand.
Where? Oh, it's the final.
No, that's the first game.
Yeah, but that's what the final should be.
Well,
Could they?
no,
they
it shouldn't
could.
be.
They could meet in the final, couldn't they? Then I guess. Could
Again.
they? Yeah.
Well, maybe, but they're in the same group,
Wow.
and we're in the same group with South Africa. So
And that's because you weren't performing as well
No.
at the time, and we were, and
So-
England were.
So the winner of
Oh.
whoever finishes top in South Africa, Ireland, or Scotland, will play the second place. So we will have in the quarterfinals France and New Zealand.
Oh wow.
Either one of them. So you know, pick which. And you got Wales and England at the other side going.
Yeah.
To all my Welsh friends, I hope you lot don't win the World Cup. You know, if England win it, I'm not living over there. If Wales win, I'm living here. It's going to be years. But no, I do think they planned on winning this tournament. And I do think, as they've said, they planned for all scenarios. And they did say after the game on Saturday, nerves got the better of them. The guy, Mac Hansen, he said he had to take tablets because he was using the toilet a lot the day before. So all of a sudden, it's a bit
nervous.
Yeah, it's a bit like, the world of finance. Nerves, emotions can get the better of you. They've done every eventuality, every scenario.
Yeah.
So they said they did plan for somebody that's not there as a hooker and other obstacles that might be put in the way. I think you have to look at all of that. I don't think they had any yellow cards in the tournament. I could be corrected. They had no red cards. So they were tackling correctly, under pressure, under strain, within emotional games, and just doing the right things at the right time. Whereas, yeah, you can argue with the guy on Saturday. Yeah, he did the wrong thing. He dropped the shoulder, which, whether it's right or wrong and all that is up for debate. But that was the big thing I picked out of Ireland, that under pressure, they still stuck to the game plan, which is exactly what people should be doing when it comes to their finances. Set your stall out for many years ahead, construct a very, very robust plan, follow it through, and when the poo hits the fan and wobbles happen, a bit like the Scotland game, don't worry, stick to the plan because you know it's going to succeed.
Yeah. Ride
out the storm and celebrate at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
That's financial planning, in 12 seconds.
Nice. Like that analogy.
So yeah, champions. I did ask Chris, could we put in we are the champions at the start of the this, but we weren't allowed for copyright reasons. So I'm either gonna have to sing it myself or something.
Oh God, no! Don't do that. So let's move on. We have a brief overview of the budget. We weren't wrong on the pensions, then, were we?
No, but we were surprised by some of the numbers that of what they did.
Did we expect them to abolish the annual allowance? I can't remember. We did the lifetime allowance. Sorry, we expect the annual allowance to go up, didn't we? But
I don't think anyone did.
The LTA too.
Do you know and you might have
and for the reasons we said.
The Office of Budgetary Responsibility or Budget Responsibility said that the UK will no longer experience a technical recession, and inflation is expected to fall to 2.9% this year.
What's it at the moment?
You put me on the spot.
Try have a look.
It's 10.4. Why have I got an absolute memory block of that?
Current inflation. Hang on. Current inflation rate. 9.2 in December.
Do you think if all of these unions have seen this
8.8
state of
8.8
inflation coming down rapidly, and as we know, it's coming down in America, so technically it follows a few months later.
To go down a lot? Yeah.
Will the unions now, who have always been saying to their members, we're going to push for a higher wage for you guys based on the inflation, they're going, better take it now. Better take these offerings.
Well, yeah. What do you mean? Because if it does drop back down to that by the end of the year, they're going to be like kind of... Well, obviously I know they were after pay rise because some of them haven't done them for a while, but they were based on what inflation was like.
They done a YouGov survey, and they said that, what was it, of the 3,000 that they surveyed, 54% of those don't know if they support the measures, i.e. they weren't interested. But anyways, I've made a few notes. Let's fly through. Here's one. People won't have an idea because we probably look at things a bit differently. The income tax personal allowance remains at 12,570 until the 5th of April 2028.
Because that hasn't gone up much in recent years anyway, is it?
No. And the higher rate will remain at 52.70.
So all these people having these pay rises, then they're going to get whacked on tax if it takes them.
And how many pay rises are going to be over the next 5 years, even if it's, let's say it was an average
so
of
the higher rate levels the same
52.70 till
and
April 2028.
they're dropping the additional rate, aren't they?
To 125, 240. So they've given out, so the pensioners have got a lot more money and stuff. They have to balance the books. They've kept allowances for income purposes the same for the next 5 years.
So how much is state pension going up to? We don't know that either yet, do we? Going up quite considerably, isn't it?
Well, isn't it 10.4% of a lot of the 9 odd grand? It's basically a nice chunk.
So it's not going to quite affect them yet, but it could do. That'd be interesting. If they ever actually do tax the state pension, they technically don't. But
dividend allowance
technically might have to.
going down from £2,000, which we already knew, to £1,000 the new tax year, to 500 quid
Wow.
following tax year.
God, I remember when dividends were nothing. Oh.
No change in national insurance rates. 12% on lower earnings, and that's 6.
Cigarettes and alcohol gone up?
Yeah, I didn't check
No,
that.
they froze the duty, didn't they? On I can't remember. Was it beer? Was it beer? They didn't. I think they froze the duty on beer. Something like that. That was the one on everyone's lips, wasn't it?
So somebody did say your mother's going to watch this, and
The regular
and she'll check.
Weatherspoons viewers.
Do you know what though? If you're talking
Viewers?
about
Visitors?
tax and national insurance and that, it makes more sense now for people more than ever to look at pension contributions and however they call it, salary exchange, salary sacrifice, because there's the incentive to throw that in, not pay tax NI on your contributions, and also your employer can save on the contributions itself, and whether they give them back to you or not, ask them, because they're going to be saving a decent whack on that. So but dividend allowance, if that continues as it is, best home for money is going to probably continue to be ISAs. Now, unfortunately, they haven't increased the subscription. 20 grand for ISAs and 9 grand for junior ISAs, but
there's no change in that. Then, no,
but at least you're not getting a charge on that. Yeah, you're not getting a benefit like a pension of tax relief. But whatever growth is in there, is a growth.
But I guess any other savings environment's going to be, you're going to pay tax on it, especially with interest. What was savings rate then? Did you say that? Is that?
I haven't got that number on there, but I can't remember offhand what it was.
Because capital gains tax coming down as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over the next few years. That was already announced, wasn't it?
That was something that was already put into place. Isn't that going down to 6 this tax year and 3 the following tax year? So those that have the equivalent, I think different companies call them different things, general investment account, GIAs and stuff like that. Basically an account that's almost like an ISA, but it's technically non-tax.
It's not in a
efficient.
tax wrapper.
Yeah. When you're doing the calculations, the sell down and all that, that's going to be more difficult, and it's going to put more pressure on us work-wise.
Yeah, well, planning-wise, we've got to look at actually what's the best option, whether it is using bonds now and ISAs rather than GIA ISAs and then topping them up each year and pensions.
There's a number out there that if somebody's on 160 grand, and we'll talk about the pension stuff now, they make a pension contribution in the new tax year of the full allowance of 60 grand, then the calculations work out that they get the personal allowance back and all that their effective tax rate relief is 51.3%.
Wow. Yeah, because they get the personal allowance back.
Yeah.
Wow.
So abolishment of lifetime allowance.
Big tax plan needed there.
But you can still only take out max tax-free cash is based on the number today. So isn't it something
max
like
tax-free cash only based on the number today?
The 1073 million. So something like 268,000.
Odd thousand. Yeah, okay.
Which is fine.
That's fair.
Yeah, I have no issue with that.
You can't have everything. Can you?
Pension is a pension. Pension is designed to give you a regular.
Yeah, because you don't want to be able to. You got 4 million in your pension. You can't be allowing people, I guess, take $1 million in tax-free cash.
I can guarantee.
You've got to put some.
I can guarantee you, if there was an abolishment of personal allowances, people would whack in millions into it to get 25% tax relief. Well, I suppose they wouldn't get any pension relief on that, but there'll be some buzz working out the numbers that is the sweet spot for putting in as much as you can.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
But no, it wasn't a bad pension. Do you know, sometimes you go, oh.
We had a conversation when it came, the evening that it came out, that it probably one of the better budgets from our point of view, I guess, for clients and things like that. You know, some more tax plan opportunities for clients, I guess, and
I think they realise
we're going to have to use our skills a lot more now, though.
People are living longer. Yeah. They need to contribute themselves. Yeah, everyone got a massive whack on the state pension, and in fairness, you know, if the state pension is still around, we'll get the benefit of that in the future, because the 10% will always be there, the uplift will increase. But that's not sufficient to allow people to live. You know, the mail, and these papers throw things out every few weeks of the
Daily
standard
Mail.
the standard rate for somebody that has a nice standard of living and those with a summer holiday and all that, and they're saying, what is it, 20 to 30 grand for a couple, 2 state pensions of 10 odd grand or so a year, 20 is not going to be sustainable for a standard of living. So you have to start putting something into your retirement planning. So pay into a pension will abolish any sort of tax charges on you to a degree, and it's incentivizing people to do that. But by doing that, we also have to make money back on the tax relief. We're going to keep your allowance levels at the same, so we're going to get a small bit of tax back on that. But look, you know what? It is what it is. The books have to be balanced, and what you take in one hand, you have to give in the other. And it's only when you start digging down into these numbers do you realise that it's not all give.
No, it's. I think it's going to be interesting in a few years. But then Labour, aren't they, saying that it should never have been changed, and if they come in, they're going to change it back to a cap. But that's the problem. It's like, can we stop messing with the pensions, please, governments? Because one, you have absolutely no idea what you're doing. And two, you just mess with people's lives. Absolutely. And it also making our job harder because you keep changing the goalpost and we can't future plan because we have to think, well, this is the current rules, but that could change. So because you saw a thing, didn't you, about
there was a forum I was on, we were both on, and they went, should I try and second guess what the future holds? And somebody went, well, no, you can only base on what the stats are today. And who knows if it's going to change. But it's leaving us open going, look, we can't be held accountable because you could have been doing in 15 years. You
could have been doing some tax planning this month with regards to a client who's about to breach the annual allowance and maybe taking benefits and stuff.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to worry.
Potentially,
that could change the whole horizon of what you were doing.
And you've done 30 hours of work.
Or you could have just transacted it and said to that client, and then the rules have changed. Do you try and claw that back? I don't know.
It's a minefield. They just need to make it very simple.
Well, on that pension simplification rules.
I haven't got my big sheet. It was
2006.
8 pages long. It's still no better off. You have to.
That's the biggest joke in the world. Pension simplification. Mind you, it was really messy before pension simplification.
I think it's getting even messier. I think they just try and complicate something that just needs to be simple. Get an amount of money, put it into a pot, leave it there for 30 odd years. Don't do any of this lifestyling. Review back to the last podcast YouTube video we did. Leave it there for 30 odd years. When the time comes, turn a tap on, draw an income, and leave the level of, if you want to call it risk, the same. Let it grow and grow and grow when you're taking money down. And if you die, if you know when you're going to die, map it out and have zero the day you die. Yeah. Or if you don't know when you're going to die, just keep drawing down on a regular basis and leave it to whoever you want.
Exactly.
But enjoy it.
But I wish they'd just stop messing with some of these things, like pensions. It's just frustrating.
We'd have nothing to talk about then.
No,
and because the rugby's over.
It is. What we're going to talk about now when we start off. Sure, we'll find something.
You start talking about
your cue for the Lapland experience.
You started talking about football today. I think everyone in the office was shocked.
It was only because, I know I'm not. It's not become a new passion of mine. I can tell you that. It's only because there was that one game on, and I was just watching the farcical, childish nature of football.
Very technical.
Spoiled little brats.
It's very technical.
Oh, it was terrible. The Man United Fulham, the game where the players just. It's like, there's no respect. The manager got red carded. The guy handballed it, fair handball, and he knew it as well. He was playing the game a bit, making out it in his hand. And then his player got a bit argumentative, pushed the referee. He got red carded. 3 in the tunnel. 1-0 up, 2-1. I think they won 2-1 in the end, Man United. Wow. They shouldn't have won.
Wow.
But the fans must have been like, what have you just done? You threw it away. It's just a farce. So funny to watch. I rewound it as well to watch it again. So that was the only bit. I only happened to watch it at that point. My father-in-law was watching it in the living room, and I only happened to watch that part. And I was like, what just happened there? So I rewound it back after the game finished to see exactly what happened. So I didn't actually watch the game. But
see
how decisions on the pitch can literally shape the whole destination. Like that was like the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. It's a big payday for Fulham, and they should have won.
the reaction of somebody because they can't keep track of their emotions, unlike a rugby player.
Yeah. Yeah, no respect for the referee. It's terrible. You wouldn't want to be that referee. But there we go.
Tune in next week where we won't be talking about rugby.
Oh, and what was I writing? Number of the week. What was it? -1%. You know what that is, don't you?
Tell me.
The drop in inflation from the period of October 2022 to January 2023. A 1% drop in inflation
So,
in that period. So it's on its way down.
Trade union reps accept those deals now.
It's on its way down. Thank you.
Number of the week.
Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe and remember to follow us on social media for more content like this.